Close your eyes. Now touch the tip of your nose with one finger. You just did something that should be impossible. You found a target you couldn't see, using a body part you couldn't see, and you hit it. First try, no looking. So how did your finger know where your nose was? And how did your finger know where your finger even was? Right now, somewhere in the world, a soccer player is pulling a ball out of the air with the top of their foot and never once looking down at it. Their eyes are up, scanning for the pass. Their foot just knows. They aren't using sight. They aren't really using touch either. They're using a sense you've had your entire life and were never told about. A sixth sense. And it has a name. It's called proprioception. Proprioception, from the Latin word proprius, meaning one's own. Your body's sense of its own position, where every limb is, how fast it's moving, how much force it's using, tracked without a single glance. And here's the strange part. You can't switch it off. You can't feel it working. Most people go their whole lives never knowing it's there. But it's running right now, underneath everything you do. Let's go find it. Before we go in, try one more thing. Hold one arm straight out to your side and close your eyes. You can't see that arm. Nothing is touching it. And yet, you know exactly where it is, right down to the angle of your wrist and the spread of your fingers. That knowing, with no sight and no touch, is proprioception. So where is it coming from? The sense begins deep inside your muscles. Buried in the meat of nearly every muscle you own are thousands of tiny sensors, spiral coils wrapped around specialized fibers. They're called muscle spindles. A muscle spindle is a length detector. When a muscle stretches, the spindle stretches with it. The faster and further it stretches, the harder it fires. It is measuring, moment to moment, exactly how long that muscle is. And length tells the brain angle. Angle tells the brain position. Here's how sensitive they are. A doctor taps the tendon just below your knee and your leg kicks. You felt it. That kick is a muscle spindle caught by surprise. The tap stretches the muscle a hair, the spindle shouts, "Stretch," and the signal fires down to your spinal cord and straight back out to the muscle, telling it to pull. All of it before the message ever reaches your brain. It's the fastest reflex you own. One sensor, one instant correction. Now, multiply that by roughly 30,000. That's how many spindles are scattered through your body, and they are not spread out evenly. Your hands and your neck are packed with them, dense clusters of sensors, because those are the places you need the finest control. Your fingertips can find each other in total darkness because they're wired like precision instruments. But some muscles barely have any. Most of the muscles in your face are nearly spindle-free. Your face doesn't need to track its own position. Your hands never stop needing to, which is exactly why a pianist's fingers or a surgeon's hands can work while the eyes look elsewhere. But length is only half the story. Where each muscle joins its tendon sits a second kind of sensor. This one doesn't measure stretch, it measures force. It's called the Golgi tendon organ, and it reads the tension running through the tendon as the muscle pulls hard. There's a third source too. Inside the capsule around each joint sits smaller receptors that fire at the ends of a movement, when a joint bends near its limit. Muscle, tendon, joint. Three kinds of sensor, three streams of information, all feeding the same picture. So now your brain has two streams of information. One says how long each muscle is. The other says how hard each muscle is pulling. Length and force. Braid them together across every joint at once, and something remarkable appears. A complete, living map of your body in space, redrawn hundreds of times a second, without your eyes, without your awareness. Now watch what your body does with that map. When those spindles fire, the signal races up the nerve, and it is fast. Some of these fibers are the thickest, quickest wires in your whole nervous system, built for speed, because position information that arrives late is worthless. Most of that signal climbs all the way to a structure tucked at the back of your skull, the cerebellum. The name means little brain, and it's your coordination engine. The cerebellum takes the flood of position and force data, compares it against what you actually meant to do, and fires back corrections faster than you could ever think them. It doesn't just correct what's already happened, it predicts what's about to, nudging your muscles a beat ahead of the mistake. This is the soccer player's real secret. When the ball meets their foot a fraction off center, spindles in the leg feel the joint shift. The signal shoots up to the cerebellum, and the correction returns before the ball has traveled an inch. The touch looks effortless. Underneath, it's a storm of measurement and micro-adjustment, running well below conscious thought. And it isn't just athletes. It's you crossing a dark room, you carrying a full cup of coffee while reading your phone, you sliding your foot from the gas to the brake without once looking at the pedals. Proprioception is the quiet autopilot running underneath an ordinary day.
So what happens when it's gone?
In 1971, a 19-year-old man in England named Ian Waterman came down with what felt like an ordinary flu. But the infection turned his own immune system against his nerves, and it attacked one specific target: the large sensory fibers that carry proprioception. His sense of pain survived. His sense of temperature survived. His muscles still worked perfectly, but from the neck down, his sense of position was wiped out completely. He didn't feel numb. He felt like he had lost his body. When he tried to move, his limbs flew everywhere. He couldn't sit up. He couldn't stand. Not because he was paralyzed, his muscles were fine, but because he no longer knew where any part of him was. And here's the astonishing part. Ian Waterman taught himself to move again by watching. Every single motion, planned and steered with his eyes. To stand, to walk, to lift a cup, he has to look. If the lights go out, he drops to the floor, because the moment his eyes are gone, so is his map. He spends every waking moment doing consciously what your cerebellum does for you in total silence, 30,000 senses at a time. The word itself goes back to 1906, when a neuroscientist named Charles Sherrington gave these hidden senses their name: proprioceptors, the body's receivers of its own movement. He'd grasped something we still tend to forget, that beneath the 5 senses every child is taught there's a 6th, turned inward, quietly watching you from the inside. So the next time you see a player take a ball out of the air without looking, or you just reach into the dark and land on the light switch first try, remember what's really happening. 30,000 tiny senses, a river of signals, a little brain at the back of your skull, all working in perfect silence to answer the one question your body never stops asking. Where am I? You've had the answer your whole life. You just never knew you were listening. Your body is doing something incredible right now. Come see it. If this changed the way you feel your own body, subscribe. There's a new hidden system every week. This is Vivovue. See the living.
Vivovue.